I think maybe that's why it's been such a
Yeah.
tough going Pisces season, because I think we've been dealing with so much that's sort of like under the hood, so to speak, that we didn't really realize was there, but it was still having this big impact on us. And when you're the one tasked within a particular lineage to clear something, you're not just healing your own trauma, you may be healing, hundreds of people's of trauma, and it's no small feat, and so
Yeah.
if you've been wondering why you've been tired recently, that may be why. Hello everybody, and welcome to Tarot by Thea. This is the podcast where we deep dive into the current astrological and collective energies. I am joined today for the second time with my beloved sister Bex. So welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to do a double reading. I'll do a reading and my sister will do a reading. And we're going to focus today on today that we're recording is actually the first day of Aries season, which is the new year of the astrological year. So we want to just do a general reading to see what do we need to know sort of going forward, sort of in the sort of short term, because we've just had a very intense Pisces season. It's been a massive time of letting things go, releasing, ending of cycles. And even though we're in the middle of the eclipse corridor right now, we've just had the first eclipse. We're going to have another one on the 29th of March in Aries. And so we're still in the sort of this very powerful transformative time. So I thought it'd be good to check in and see maybe if there's some kind of message from Spirit right now that we need to hear collectively, if there's anything we need to know about what to expect going forward, and just sort of leave it a little open to see what Spirit wants to say. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to start. I'm going to probably do a 10-card spread. And if I get guided to do something different, then I will. But yeah, so I think that's really all we need to say right now. I'm going to start shuffling, and we'll see what comes through.
I'll be very interested to see what comes through, because obviously we have the spirit of spring about,
Exactly.
and so it's about new life, new beginnings, rebirth. So I'll be very interested to see what the cards say.
Yeah, and of course today's the spring equinox, so this is it's a great time of in between, actually, where we're recording, because we're sort of letting go of the old energies. We're about to step into the new, but we are in this sort of strange in between time as well. So I thought it'd be good to just check in and see what we need to know right now. So yeah. Okay.
I mean,
carry on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there used to be in Cambridge. There used to be the Maypole Festival to celebrate the beginning of spring. And I always really enjoyed that. That touch of paganism that they brought to it. Yeah. I thought it was a nice way to bring in the spring.
Yeah, I remember doing that as a kid. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to tune in a little bit now with my crystal ball and just start shuffling, see what comes through. Maybe Spirit wants to pull the cards. Maybe I'll get told when to stop shuffling, and we'll just see what happens. So what do we need to know right now as we're moving into this new astrological year? Oh, okay. I'll just spell out. Okay, so we get the Five of Pentacles. I think I'm going to pull a few cards just so I can see what the theme is. But this can be about like lack and scarcity and going without. Yeah, so I'm wondering if this is like what we're moving
out of. Loss as well.
Yeah, also exactly like the letting go. what we're
yeah.
surrendering as part of this transition. So I'm just gonna,
That's also connected to rebirth as well. You have to, leave new things behind. You're letting go of the winter.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's actually a good point because this is, if you can see the snow there on the card.
yeah,
So, so yeah, maybe this is pointing actually to the season as well. That's a
yeah,
good point, Bex. Yeah. All right, let's see.
yeah.
Let's get a couple more cards, and then I can maybe sort of tune into the message a little more.
Oh,
Oh, one fell out, and I didn't even realize. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So this is
interesting.
this card. What? Okay, so the second thing that came to my mind is this card can actually be about planting seeds, and if you can see like the
Yeah,
fertile ground there, so it's very interesting. We've got winter and a kind of spring feel between these two cards. So this is like the midpoint. But the first thing that I got is it's about the things we've been waiting for starting to sprout. So, like, we've been in this period of going without something and waiting for something to come through. And I'm curious now what the next card is going to be, just to sort of like give us.
isn't the night also about moving forward? It's about moving in a new direction, isn't it? Is that what the night is about? Yeah, about moving forward. So maybe because it's the Pentacles about it's connected to finance again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You so like materialism, finance,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So
And
like the fact that he's like planting the seeds, so it's almost like you have to let go of something to replant something, to let something else get nurtured,
mm-hmm.
maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
I'm
let's
very
see.
interested to see what your reading is going to be
Yeah,
as
I
well,
know.
because there's two there that are connected. Yeah,
Yeah, already very
yeah.
interesting. All right. So, what else do we need to know? What are we moving into? What message do you have for us? I'm kind of feeling like the fact that it snuck out and I
Yeah.
didn't notice it. I think I'm feeling like that's also a message as well. Like, it's almost like maybe something is going to either surprise you or take root in a way that you before you even realized it. Maybe it's almost like something happening a bit behind the scenes, a little bit like when the seeds are still germinating under the ground and they haven't shown
Yeah.
themselves. So maybe it's referring to that because I think that's the first time I've had a card come out and I didn't realize it. So
And the fact that they're both connected to finance as well, like
yeah.
materialism, finance, is very interesting, because well, as we come out of winter, whether you celebrate Christmas or whether you celebrate any other religious holiday, the winter solstice, finances is always on someone's mind. And so
Mhm.
the fact that there's going to be new birth there potentially is very encouraging,
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And it's also about because I'm also getting like it's the things we value as well.
Yeah,
Like as well as like material possessions and stuff like that. So
yeah,
and maybe also our energy, like because I know that I'm not the only one who's experienced this, but in Pisces season, it's like I haven't had the energy to do much. It's like it's had to be this divine pause, this divine rest. And so I'm wondering if
yeah,
we're going to get a renewal in energy as well.
yeah.
So and I know I'm not the only one because I'm hearing it from a lot of people where it's almost like they've had to put off a lot of things. They've just had to take care of themselves and just sort of do what they can to get by. And I think there's been a lot of time for reflecting and healing. Okay, something just topped up. So I'm wondering if it's also an energetic thing as well that's shifting.
It's like Astaria, I believe her name was, the goddess of spring. Like she, the fact that we come out of that lull, like that's like spiritual, but also emotional and physical lull, you know, like having that new spout of energy, you know, which is all about spring, you know.
Mm.
Like I love spring, like the whole like new year, it's not just a new cycle, it's a new psychological year, it's a new
Mm.
spiritual year.
Yeah.
You know, it's about rebirth. What did you get? Oh, something.
So we got
Which card is that? Sorry.
the
Yeah.
Four of Wands, and
So
so
home,
Four of Wands
stability.
is like a gateway. You're going through this gateway
Yeah,
into a time of greater abundance. Now, in relationships, this would have a different meaning, but I'm not feeling like that's the vibe we're getting here. So it's almost like we're going through a portal into something
yeah,
that's more abundant, and you can see this the people are celebrating in that card.
yeah.
You know,
But it's also about stability, home, you know, that kind of
absolutely,
reinforcement. Yeah.
yeah. And Leo just confirmed that, just so in case you didn't hear it. So yeah, so there's it's like we're going through. This is a portal, and do you know what I'm also getting? This is
Well,
the eclipse portal the eclipse corridor
oh,
that we're going through right now,
yeah,
because we're
yeah,
not on the other side of it. We've got another one in 9 days, and then there's
yeah,
usually a shadow period. So I'm feeling like this is related to that eclipse corridor because we're still going through that. We've got one more eclipse to go to on the other side.
yeah,
It's going to be the last eclipse in Aries, which is the relationship
yeah,
axis that the nodes were on, because we're in that slight transition period. So this is the last one. Now we're fully into what I'm calling the spiritual axis. Some people call it the health
yeah,
axis, but I call it the spiritual axis because it's Virgo, which is, the priestess, the disciple and all of that. And then you've got Pisces, which is the spirituality. The Neptunian energy. Again, we're in that transition between the two.
yeah,
And then there's like a shadow period afterwards, and I can't remember if it's 2 or 4 weeks, but and by then Venus will also have been completed her retrograde. So this is
yeah,
a time of reflection, which, okay, she represents relationships, but she also represents finances and money as well.
yeah,
So again, I'm feeling like we're being drawn to this sort of like corridor that we're in now, and this is like representing like the two sides of it. So this is
yeah.
what we stepped into it. This is the energy, and we're coming out of it in this energy. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm feeling. Um, do you
To
have any?
let go of one to become another. Yeah,
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 exactly. It's a transformation. And actually,
yeah,
when I always, well, I don't always, but whenever I put a deck away, I always shuffle it. And if the root card catches me the next time I use it, then I pay attention to it. And in this case, it was the death card, which is transformation. So it's very,
yeah. Sweet stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's very appropriate considering where we're at. So yeah, I'm gonna just see now. So we're getting the theme. So let's see what else
yeah.
wants to come through regarding.
I'm very interested to see what
Yeah,
else you get.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they wanted to come out. Oh, a King of Pentacles.
interesting.
We're getting a lot of Pentacle energy. Um, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So again, do you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing this.
It's about decisions, stability, but also taking action and nurture. Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what I'm also seeing is we're going from this Knight into this King
Yeah.
energy. So this is a maturing of, um,
Taking responsibility as well. Yes.
yeah, and also like being able to handle greater amounts of uh like it's like better management of our resources and energy, and our maybe even how we, because we've gone through this big reassessment and I can't help feeling that some of that is reassessing, what it is we value, what is it that is worth sort of keeping in our life, because we've just gone through a huge clear out. So I'm
Yeah.
just feeling like this corridor that we're in is like almost like this graduation time. So getting to the other side of it is allowing us to sort of step up in terms of how we're handling our energy, how we're handling our finances. So yeah, I'm just gonna see, to complete this top row, to see what final message is going to come through for this reading. Okay, 2 came out. So the one that came out upright is the Eight of Wands. So,
Interesting.
so this is swift movement.
Yeah.
Also, it's because it's wands, it's fire, it's
Yeah.
this is spiritual. So we've got wands and we've got pentacles. So it feels like there's a big spiritual shift that's happening that we're going through right now, and it's going to have an impact on the physical. Because sometimes when we do this spiritual work, it's
Yeah.
like it um, it takes time for the fruits to be
Yeah.
seen of it, and I'm getting the feeling that we're moving into a time where that's gonna it's almost like that's going to shift a bit because it's almost like so much is happening or so much has been cleared in the work that we've just done in the last year, and in because in a way we're completing the nodal axis of the relationship axis that we had for like 18 months with this eclipse. So it's like whatever stuff that because this could be the work that we've done on our relationships has actually had an impact on other areas of our lives. And because we've just gone through this huge completion point with Pisces season and with this eclipse, it feels like we're having lots of major sort of like completions and transformation point. It's like we're in a nexus of all of this happening right now. And I think because we've done all that work, I think it's almost like so much energy is going to be freed up for things to just start going.
Yeah.
Click, 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 click. Because the pentacle energy is slow moving. It's slow and steady, prudence.
Yeah.
It's methodical. It takes time. But wand energy, fire energy is quick.
It's
Um,
very swift.
So I
Yeah.
think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see that as we get on the other side of it, it's almost like we're reaching a maturity because we've had all these lessons, we've released what we need to release, and what it's allowing us in not only to have this like stability, but also for things to start moving because it's like we're coming out of a period of like the quagmire is what I'm getting, and we're coming out of a period of things feeling stuck, or we're revising stuff that we we thought maybe we healed from.
Also, what was interesting is that it's interesting about how it's so much about the physical realm as well, like when we say materialism, it doesn't necessarily just mean finances, it can mean like this material realm that we're in,
Yeah,
and the impact we have in it. And so it's about the slow nurturing to come to this swift decision, this swift action that will lead us onto this new path. It's very interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the next card I got is the Knight of Swords, and this is
Mm.
clarifying the Five of Pentacles. And so
Yeah.
I'm feeling like because this is again swift movement, just like the Eight of Wands
Yeah.
here, and so I'm feeling like this is about um, moving forward. Like it's interesting
From
how
loss.
they're looking in different directions here. So it's like
It's like moving towards loss. Yeah.
yeah, and also like moving in a different direction. It's kind of
Yeah.
like yeah. So with this, I'm really getting the sense of just like almost like walking in circles, like not
Yeah.
feeling like you're getting anywhere. That's what I'm kind of getting, maybe with the pentacles here, and suddenly it's almost like breaking out of that and
Yeah.
having a direction. So maybe this is like a feeling of aimlessness, not knowing
Yeah.
quite where we're going or where we're heading, and then suddenly getting clarity and direction. So I
Yeah.
think that that's kind of what I'm feeling. So it's not just about you know opportunities coming or whatever the case may be. I think it's also about because swords about the mind, and it's
Yeah.
really about clarity and vision and where we're going. So I think we're cutting through um, particularly since we've had this time where we're maybe revising a lot of stuff from the past, so maybe we're dealing with a lot of doubts about what we're going to do in the future. And so I think this is what I'm feeling is that we're going to actually start to see clarity in direction coming forward. Yeah, so that's what I'm picking up on. Do you have anything?
It's just I was also thinking, it's about, there's a lot of conflict as well. It's like it's almost like there's been a lot of psychological, not trauma, but like you're saying, it's like being stuck in the moment. It's like being stuck in the thought. It's like there's these material worries, these financial worries, but like earthly worries that haven't been able to find your way out of, haven't been able
Yeah.
to think your way out of. And I'll be interested if it's because someone else comes in and shows them a way out, shows them clarity of mind, gives them a new perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If there's another figure that actually helps them through it,
That's actually,
because there is an internal conflict going on here.
yeah. And with my voice going there, I'm wondering also
Yeah,
if this is about, because nights can be about messengers, so it can be about communication. And
yeah,
so I'm wondering if there is going to be maybe some conversations that happen, like you say, between somebody
yeah.
else and you that allow
An
you to
exchange.
actually get some clarity.
Yeah,
So, and maybe also it's going to open up opportunities, like because sometimes when you talk about things you want to do, you may end up discovering there are people who can actually support you in it and or want to get
yeah.
involved.
To
So
maybe think and talk a way out of that situation.
yeah,
Yeah,
because this could be about going without, and so I'm wondering if
yeah,
this is almost like leading through communication to support that you would otherwise you were used to not having. So
yeah.
I'm wondering if that's part of it as well. Um, yeah, yeah. So it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
So let's just see now what's the next message and clarifying that Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, we just got the Ten of Pentacles, so more Pentacle energy, and this is
Yeah, like
community.
literally, like financial, like
Yeah,
raining from the heavens, almost.
It-
Like
yeah,
you're full of abundance. Yeah,
yeah. No, this is a hugely abundant card. I mean,
yeah.
this and these are very abundant cards,
So
as
that,
well as the Knight of Pentacles, actually. And
so
so, yeah, there seems to be
really come out.
a lot about that, but
Yeah,
this is also a card of like family and community as well. So it's again like you were saying about
yeah,
how it could be involving other people, in terms of how you're
yeah,
moving forward, getting the support and all of that.
yeah,
So it definitely feels like maybe we're going away from this time where you're kind of like having to sort of do things on your own without the support into, you know, greater abundance. And also this is a 10, so this is about a completion. So it's almost like with the Knight of Pentacles here, it feels like we're planting seeds that are gonna
yeah,
lead us to this Ten of
yeah,
Pentacles, and to have I'm getting success in the physical plane. So it's like
yeah,
so things actually, because if we're going to a 10, if we're planting seeds now, it's almost like we're getting the maximum amount of fruit out of those seeds that have come through.
mm.
And with you yawning, I wonder also if it's energetic as well.
Yeah.
So if we're going
Yeah,
from feeling depleted,
yeah, yeah,
you know, to actually moving into a time where we're going to have actually more energy, because it's almost like we've
yeah,
freed up what I'm getting is like, if you imagine all these timelines and possibilities that we had, that we were
yeah,
putting energy into to see which one was going to pan out, it's almost like we've
mm,
just had a big clear out. It was just like, we don't need
yeah,
all of these things anymore. They're not aligned anymore. And so we can focus
yeah,
our energy, I feel, into more fruitful directions. That's kind of what's coming
yeah,
up for me. Um,
yeah.
anything more coming through for you?
I think, yeah, I mean, it's also going back to the stability of, um, because I forgot. I'm so terrible with remembering what numbers they are.
It's
I need to get better at remembering what numbers they are. But the home card, the stability, where it was like, which card number is that again?
this one?
This one, yeah. I'm
Yes, the
terrible at remembering.
four of wands. That's right.
Thank you, the four of wands, yeah. That's also going back to the stability. So it's almost like you've planted the seed, but also this person that's come in has stabilized that home, has been able
Mm,
to stabilize your home life, has been able to stabilize your your earthly realm, in a
mm,
way, but also your mental stability, because we're also talking about, it's affecting your mind. So I think the person that came in has literally given them so much clarity that not only have they found their way through, but they've given their home life stability, and it's also given them financial and, almost spiritual abundance. It's given them that spiritual freedom where they can actually come out and breathe easy.
mm.
They can actually start finding their way on this new path. Like that's what I'm getting anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. All right. So I'm just gonna clarify now the card you were just talking about, the four of wands.
Yeah. Yeah.
See what more comes through on that. See if it also adds to what you were just saying. Let's have a look. Okay, interesting.
What came
Okay,
out?
so we got the two of pentacles
Juggling.
again, more pentacles, right? But
Juggling. Yeah.
but this is also about rebalancing,
Yeah.
particularly since
Literally,
we've
yeah.
gone through this turbulent time in Pisces season, which is a water sign, right? I
Yeah.
know we're moving into Aries, which is actually a fire sign, but it's like, yeah. So but it is. It's about juggling a lot,
It's yeah.
and so maybe this is like,
But it's
oh,
also
I
finding
know
your
exactly
feet
what it
as
is. I know
well.
exactly what it is. Okay, these
Yeah.
are the eclipses. We are in
Yes. Yeah.
between. We are right there, and see where that in between is right
Yeah.
on the heart. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've talked in my previous reading about how opening the heart and following the heart is actually the guide you need going
Yeah.
forward. Um, and it's like, yeah, so it's like we're again in
Yeah.
between. So like,
Yeah.
these two events, and so, and also it could be that this what this time is bringing up is it's like a choice point. So it's again,
Yeah.
are we going to finally release
Yeah.
um, those last things that we're really holding tight to? Can we actually let it go? Can we actually walk
Yeah.
into the unknown and trust
Yeah.
there's something better on this
And
other side of
find your
this?
feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
there is a again, I just feel it's reiterating that there is
Yeah.
this opportunity, and it could be that, if for those who don't take that opportunity,
Mm.
Leo,
Leo's confirming. Yes. Yes.
Leo, hello, Leo.
Leo's very interested in this reading.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, hello.
Hello,
Mm.
sweet.
It's almost like we're seeing the before and after a little bit. So
Yeah.
I feel
You
like,
have to find your new balance on this new path, that you've discovered, and you need to, like you say, you need to be able to let go of what was not just holding you back, but the fears around it.
mm,
Like having a new path, there's a lot of fears that go along with that,
mm.
and being able to have that confidence to be able to go through on that choice as well.
Okay, so what I'm getting is the word portal, that we are literally walking
Mm,
through a portal into something else, into something greater. And if we can walk through with an open heart, with trust and faith,
mm,
and listening to what feels aligned and what doesn't, then it's like
yeah,
there are all these opportunities for us. There's all of these you know, possibilities for abundance. So
yeah,
it's almost like we're being called into a more fruitful world, but it
yeah,
requires us to let go of the lack mindset, the
yeah,
scarcity, the feeling like we don't have support, all of the things that kind of we maybe allowed in ourselves that sort of like held us back. But I think it's also just I think we're releasing on such a grand level that it's like we can't even necessarily comprehend everything that's going
yeah,
on. We could be dealing with ancestral trauma templates that are being cleared out. We could be dealing with, past life stuff. We could be dealing with karmic cycles that we're not even consciously aware of. And because of that, it's like I think there are some things where all we can do is tune in and just feels like in the moment what's right for us in any given situation, rather than getting caught up in doubts or projections of what might happen and stuff like that. One of the things about Pisces is it can be a time of great illusion, and so
yeah,
we could be we it's like we've been asked to release our illusions, our wishful thinking, our rose tinted glasses, so that we can actually see clearly, so that we can actually move forward towards the truth,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And in doing so, it's like we're putting ourselves in a vibration where we can actually attract all of this abundance.
yeah,
And this is
exactly.
the grand clear out that allows us to put ourselves in that place where we can
Yeah,
more effortlessly live in abundance. So, but we have
I
to
mean, it's
choose that. We have to choose that. We have to,
yeah,
there is a choice in that. And we have to also, because one of the things I got reminded
the
of
problem is,
recently is the
yeah,
fact that when you're close to a breakthrough, like you will be
yeah,
here, that's when you get
yeah,
tested the most. It's
yeah.
almost like, are you really ready? And so
Well,
we have a choice to fall back into the old patterning or to
well,
move
there's a
forward.
familiarity there. There's a strange comfort in familiarity. There's a strange comfort in, and what that doesn't, just because something is familiar and nostalgic, or it's habitual, it doesn't mean it's good for you.
No,
It doesn't mean those old patterns are good for you just because that's what you're used to. That's because where your psychological muscle memory is there. It's like when we say we attract the same kinds of people, and the reason we may attract the same kinds of people can be for positive or negative. It's either because they remind us of our family, people we love, people we're connected to, or it can be because there's a destruction there, and we let in the wrong kinds of people. And that's not me blaming you, but what it is we, if we're not aware that we're attracted to those same kinds of people, it means that we make the same kinds of choices because there is familiarity there, and familiarity can kind of trick you into thinking it's safe when actually it isn't. There's and so it's like it's the same with old habits, old decisions. Just because something feels safe and familiar because we understand those choices doesn't mean that we're making the right choices for us. The reason why we call it a leap of faith is because we have to make a new choice, and it takes us into the unknown, and it breaks us into our fear. And the only way we can really make those choices is by going, no, I'm comfortable enough to let go of this fear. I deserve to let go of this fear.
Mm.
My fear is my choice to let go of it.
Mm.
And it's the same with saying, it's my choice, it's my new path to go down. But it's again going into confidence, having that confidence to go into that. And that can be very scary. But here's the great thing about something scary is that it can be thrilling and exciting, but it can also bring a whole abundance of new healthy options to you. It's true what they say, the older you get, the less doors are open to you. But that's because we tend to forget to look where those doors are. And they're not always closed, they're not always fully shut. Sometimes they're just left ajar. And it's us to really look at that, whether or not those doors are still there, and to make those choices and to go, yeah, I deserve this new path. And I deserve the abundance and the wealth and the opportunity and the excitement that goes along with it. The new spring of life,
Mm.
Ostara,
Yeah.
new beginnings,
Yeah.
new choices, new decisions, new health.
Yeah, and when you were talking there about opening up options, that's another way you could look at
Mm,
two cards. You know, you're giving yourself these options to
mm,
choose between, and there's actually an infinity symbol there as well. So it's like abundance
absolutely.
is, like an infinity
It's
of
the
options.
infinite loop of choice.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
infinite loop of choice.
That's
Yeah.
also another way you could read those two cards, actually. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, great stuff. All right, so let's look now at clarifying the King of Pentacles and see what wants to come through on that. Oh, that's interesting. So we get the Six of Cups, which is
Oh,
clarifying. You know what's coming through because this is a relationship reading. So
yeah.
both of these cards can actually be related to kindness,
Yeah.
generosity. So I'm feeling like generosity is what's filling your cup.
Mm,
Um,
love.
and
Yeah.
obviously, in becoming more abundant in your energy and what you're attracting into your life, naturally that can overspill into generosity towards others. And so, what I'm feeling is like this is a reminder that
Mm,
in the new found abundance that's coming along, the opportunities, the maybe the material wealth or possessions or whatever it may be in the physical, it's like there's a reminder in to have the compassion to use that to also help others. So I'm feeling like this is like it goes hand in hand. Um,
yeah.
and literally it's like I'm seeing something pass from one hand to another and to another and to another, and it's like we're all helping one another in this big chain. And so
It's
yeah.
It's very true what they say. Choose the well you want to pour your cup from.
Mm.
Fill your cup from. Like if you choose a well that's full of poisonous and dirty water, then that's what you're going to put into yourself and put into everyone else. If you choose a world of clarity
Mm.
and of clear water, then that's what you're going to give it yourself and everyone else. And it's true, what you put into yourself is what you definitely put into others.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. um and I'm also wondering because this can be a card of nostalgia and past connections, either in
Mm,
this lifetime or in others. And I'm wondering if this is also, I'm also sort of thinking maybe this is also like an inner child healing as well,
yeah,
as those are actually two children.
yeah,
Um, so like the and I'm feeling like it goes hand in hand. So I'm feeling like this next phase, um, as we learn to welcome in this abundance, is actually going to be a healing process for our inner child, and it may even be healing for past connections where there has been
Yeah,
a struggle with dealing with meeting them with compassion and kindness. So
yeah,
it feels like there is a healing element to this, but I think it goes hand in hand. It's like I don't feel like one has to happen to another. I think it's going to sort of like be this continuous sort of feedback cycle.
yeah.
So it's like it's going to come in and then be healing, and the healing is going to then attract more abundance and all of this. So it's like we're starting this feedback loop that's going to just kind of like expand,
And that
over
feeds
time.
also feeds back into your roots, going back to, the seeds that you plant. It goes back to your home life. This is all very circular. It
Mm,
is very circular. It's telling you, that it's not just your own well-being that you have to take care of. It's also everyone else's around you. It's the whole 6 degrees of separation. It's everyone that you interact with is
mm,
going to be feeding off this new energy, this new path that you walk down, and it's only going to be full of abundance, and it's only going to be full of health,
mm.
because that is the choice that you choose.
And I'm also getting that with these two cards, I feel like this is maybe pointing to ancestral trauma around
Yeah,
scarcity, because
yeah,
so many of us have got ancestral lines where there has been lack, where there has been, you know, where really difficult
yeah. Ours,
circumstances, and they haven't been cleared. So I'm feeling like this is a clearing of that again,
yeah,
in order to be able to receive this abundance that's coming
yeah,
in. So I feel like that's part of what's happening now, what we've been dealing with. But I feel that it's going to
yeah,
continue as this abundance comes in, and then, like I say, it's going to be this loop. So I am feeling like that it's almost like we're doing massive ancestral trauma clearing actually with this. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's it it's amazing how far those ripples reach.
Mm,
We forget that we carry the trauma of our ancestors in our blood. It's more than just our physical teachings that we're taught in this life that we pass on. It's the lessons are almost very much baked into our own DNA, which is why we can have fears, irrational fears, that we have no idea where they come from. We can have knee-jerk reactions to things that we have no idea where they come from, and it's
mm,
because there is that trauma that has almost been passed on to us in our genome because we haven't actually healed it,
mm,
because there's been no opportunity to do that ancestral healing.
mm,
And we are more than just our own physical bodies. We are more than just our own physical realm. And so we forget through our day to day lives just how much of our own instincts, how much of our own teachings are actually passed down to us within our own blood,
mm.
within our own physical being.
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe that's why it's been such a
Yeah,
tough going Pisces season, because I think we've been dealing with so much that's sort of like under the hood, so to speak, that we didn't
yeah,
really realize was there, but it was still having this big impact on us. And when
yeah,
you're the one tasked within a particular lineage to clear something, you're not just healing your own trauma, you may be healing, you know,
like,
hundreds of people's of trauma,
yeah,
and it's no small feat. And so
yeah,
if you've been wondering why you've been tired recently, that may be why,
yeah,
because you've been doing a lot of work and you're not even consciously aware of it. So that makes a lot of sense to me actually that came up.
yeah,
Because particularly around abundance and the whole lack versus abundance thing, that's something that has obviously affected us collectively on a huge way, generation after generation after generation. So that's a lot to clear. So yeah. All right, so I'm going to try and pull this final clarifier for the Eight of Wands, and wrap up this reading. Oh, well. Okay, this fell in my lap. I don't know if that's happened before. Two of Swords. Okay.
Wow. Choice.
Yes,
Choice.
Crossroads again.
Caught between a choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crossroads.
So again, and this is
Torn
wonderful
between
now.
two thoughts, two calls. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is like I'm trying to think. Okay, so I'm just gonna tune in because I feel like there's something on the tip of my tongue that wants to talk about this. So
Don't rush into making a swift thought.
okay, so one of the first things I'm getting is almost like there's this energy that wants to flow, but you've got like
Yeah.
these two paths ahead of you, like you're in a
Yeah.
fork in the road. And as long as you stand in that fork point, it's like the energy. It's almost like it's divided, um, and so by making certain decisions, it's like again that feeling of like focusing all your energy in one direction. Um,
To converge.
so
Yeah.
it's almost like indecision dilutes your power, and it is an action in itself because you're choosing to
But
stay in that point. You're choosing not to
she's
go
blinded
through the
by those
gateway.
choices as well.
It's like a
But
choosing.
she's blinded by those choices as well.
Yeah,
You're blinded by the choice, you know.
yeah,
You we can be blinded to so is blind to so much, and our instincts can put us in one choice, but the reality is that we have to take our time. The danger is this swift action, making a choice too swiftly. That is the danger.
yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs clarity. Yeah.
Mm,
I think charging into this, like you say, being pulled into this conversion, is making you make a choice. But you have to take your time to really consider that choice.
mm, mm. Because you can be at the fork in the road and hold your energy
Yeah, yeah,
until you've made a decision and then move forward. Or you
yeah,
can stay at that fork in the road and project in all the different possible ways and kind of like it's almost like you're trying to maintain multiple futures when there's only
yeah,
space for like one of those paths to actually become fruitful. And so there's like it's almost like there is a sapping of your vitality in staying in that sort of state for too long. Um, so even though time may be needed to actually decide, is this something that I want to do? Is it something that's aligned? Is it not? Or whatever it is. But it feels like there is something in these that one of these is letting go. Oh, and do you
yeah,
know what the other thing about this card is? I just realized, and one of them is being chosen. But do you know? See this moon here?
yeah,
You only get a moon like that in an eclipse.
yeah,
Again, we've got the eclipse in this, so it's like the eclipse corridor. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like we're in this
yeah,
corridor of like just that final pause again to actually consider. It's like a last opportunity to really reflect deeply before we can commit to a decision either way or where it is we're going to put our energy or something like that. So again, I'm feeling like this feels like almost like this is the window between the two eclipses, and we're like in between that. And so again, in this
yeah,
corridor, this is a moment of it's still a moment of pause. It's like the divine pause of Pisces season has been extended through the eclipse corridor. That's what I'm feeling. even though the
yeah,
Aries fire energy is starting to rise and we're starting maybe getting more energy, but it's like we still have this period where we get to reflect and release and make decisions and stuff like that. But we don't have to, like you say, rush it. We've still got a bit of time
yeah,
to do that. And I get the feeling once we get on the other side of this,
yeah,
then the energy is going to start picking up. And it's almost like that's when we maybe press to actually start making decisions and deciding where we're going to put our energy. But I feel like it's like we're still being given a moment of reflection to discover what's still to be known or released,
yeah,
um, before we're actually really ready to take the full cardinal fire energy into what's next in
yeah,
our life, in terms of
absolutely.
that new beginning. So I like what you
Yeah,
say about not rushing into it, because I think
yeah,
it's a reminder to say it's like, okay, we're in Aries season. Technically today we're in Aries season, but we are still in a period of reflection, release, transformation. And so you still have a bit
yeah,
more time with this to go.
yeah.
And so we're these two energies are overlapping, where we are being asked to reflect, but we are being filled with this fire energy, and so we need to again find the balance. You know.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, but also by rushing in, there's a certain blindness to what the truth of those paths are. If you rush, into, if you don't take that moment, like you're saying, before you find the truth of those paths, it it can blind you. You know, by feeling that pressure and feeling like you have to make a swift decision, it does give you a certain form of blindness, and with that, I feel would be great regret. You know, I feel like there would be great regret if you were to be forced into Russian. If
We just had a confirmation knock from the kitchen as you were saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it's like it's. I think we're still getting the message of you still take your time to make
yeah,
informed decisions. Don't feel like you have to rush
yeah,
out of the gate. You know,
yeah,
it's like, particularly I think since it's been a difficult period in Pisces, it's almost like I don't know about other people, but there has been this desire of I just want to get through this to the other side, and I just want to get going again. But I think it's a very poignant point that you made, that it's like
yeah,
we're not quite there yet. You still got a bit of time. Ease yourself into
yeah,
it, and it will be
yeah,
revealed. And again, this
yeah,
requires trust, because you're going in blind, and you haven't got
absolutely.
all the information yet. But it's trusting
Yeah,
that you get to the other side, that things are going to become clearer, and then you can start moving forward, you know. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, yeah. Mm.
yeah,
So I'm just going to have a look at these cards as a whole and just see if there's any final messages, and then we can bring this one to a close. Um, I mean, because we got so much pentacle energy here, and we have a little bit of wands, a little bit of cup, and a little bit of swords. But this definitely feels like we're going through. It's like a major transformation in the physical plane. Um, and this window that we're in is almost like a crucial point, because we're like I said right at the beginning of this, we're in this great in between
yeah,
period, but it's coming to a close in the not too distant future. So it's like we can take this last bit of time to really reflect on. It's, I'm not just getting where we're going, but who we are. It's like, who are we? What version of ourselves are we letting go, and what version are we wanting to step into? Do we want to be the person that tolerates this or does this or allows this in their life? Or is it
It's
time to
really
let that
tough,
go?
yeah.
Is it,
Yeah.
are we going to be the person who carries all these and is it affected by all these old templates, old ancestral templates, or are we the one that clears it? You know, um, so I feel that it's like there's this continuation of the work that we've done in Pisces season, but what I'm feeling is there's it's like a new twist, a new energy to it. Maybe it's almost like we've been given more energy in order to do this final phase of it, because now we're moving out of water, emotional energy, into fire, spiritual energy. So it's almost like we're going into a completion phase of this massive clearance and transformation. Um, and what's waiting for us on the other side um, is, a lot of abundance, a lot of, it's like I'm getting this like we're going to be relieved of this weight, this energetic weight that
Yeah.
we've been carrying. And it's because of that, it's like we're going to have more vitality and energy. Um, and that's then going to like kickstart a lot of things into motion because suddenly we have the energy to do things that we maybe didn't have before. Suddenly we're going to have the clarity that we didn't have before. And so things are going to start opening up. But as you said, we don't need to rush it. There is a path of unfoldment that is
Yeah.
in front of us, and we just need to take it one step at a time. But
Yeah.
but it's like we can see it on the horizon now, and we can feel it a
Yeah.
little bit, and there may be this desire to just like jump ahead to it because maybe we've been
Yeah.
struggling recently, and we want to feel that. We want to feel the other side of it, but we're getting there. So it's just I'm getting it's just one last final slog. It's just like
Yeah.
one last hurrah to just like that we have to like. I, and I was going to say push through, but what I'm feeling is it's like it's not just a grit your teeth and bear it kind of like let's just run out the clock thing because there's work
It's
to be
yeah.
processed and done, but it's like I think knowing that there is
There's
another side to it coming not too
yeah.
distant future, I think is really maybe one of the messages coming through because it's just like we know it's been difficult and we know there's a bit more to
Yeah.
be done, but you're getting there. That's kind of what
I
I'm doing.
think it's like that old Mae West song, "A Guy What Takes His Time," you know? And it's one of my favorite songs, but it's true, she doesn't want an apprentice, she wants a master of her trade. And I think this is what this path is teaching you, it's when you become an apprentice of something, when you start and you whether that be actually a skill, whether that be you're learning to become a healthier version of yourself, there's there's that temptation to rush because you started on this path, you started learning, but you're not the master yet. You actually haven't mastered yourself. You haven't mastered your mental state or your craft or whatever this path is bringing about you. And there is a wisdom in taking your time,
Mm.
and it's not about being frustrated, it's about enjoying that slow, successful path to becoming that healthier, more successful version of yourself.
Due to technical issues in this wonderful Mercury retrograde, we're going to have to bring my half of the reading to a close. And because we've had a number of issues getting things technically working today, my sister Bex now has to leave, and we're going to schedule her reading as a part 2. And we're going to do the recording of that next week and get it out as soon as we can. So maybe we'll do this in a two-parter. Maybe that makes sense in future, but we'll see how it goes. But we had a lot of technical issues. The Riverside thing that I normally use wouldn't allow her camera to work properly, and then we tried Telegram again, and then we had to go to Jitsi, and maybe we'll try Google Meet next time if we have an issue. But yeah, so it's been a bit crazy. Definitely major Mercury retrograde going on. Leo, bless him, has interrupted the reading several times, which, I don't mind him being close by and sort of confirming things, but when he keeps jumping up in certain ways that moves the cards all over the place and completely block the camera, it's like we have to keep stopping. And so there was a lot going on today that actually just made doing this reading really difficult. But I think the reading itself is an important message, so we're gonna put it together. Hopefully, you will have just seen it in a much more um, digestible form than it was recording it. Let's put it like that. So, just to wrap up, I have no major announcements right now regarding certain offerings. There's been, in this reevaluation period of Pisces and all of that, I'm considering going in a different direction with my membership. So until I'm really sure on that, I'm not going to do any major announcements. So all I'm going to say is that the YouTube channel seems to be the main place now where a lot of my content is going. That and Instagram, but Instagram can't do the sort of deep dives that we do in these podcasts. So if you're not already subscribed and you like our content, I really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I will see you next time in part 2 of Psychic SiStars here at tarot.by.thea. So keep shining and see you next time. Bye.